Alright, so this is the sound booth tutorial part 1. We're going to show you some of the basic essentials, and being in the sound booth is very essential because we need people to be able to hear the message clearly and the words to the lyrics in the songs clearly, because when they do that they're able to learn about God more efficiently so they can experience life change. So let's show you how to get this started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some stuff turned on. Over here to the left of the soundboard there's 4 boxes. The ones on the top control the wireless mics, and the one on the bottom is the DBX, which divides up the highs and the mids. To turn on, you want to turn on the one on the bottom first, and just right here on the back side, you just flip it down, and you'll see a light turn on the front there. And then you can go ahead, while you're over here, go ahead and turn on these 4 boxes for the wireless mics, and you'll be done with these on here. Next, we're going to go over here to our soundboard. On the soundboard, if you flip right around the back side on the right hand side, it's on the bottom corner in the back, you're going to flip it up and you'll see the lights will turn on in just a second, and you see all the lights are now on the soundboard. And now that we've done that, we're going to come down below here, and down here it's going to be hard to see, but there's 3 boxes down here. 2 of them are called amps, they're called Euro powers, and there's a power switch on the left side on the front. You're going to flip them both on, and you'll hear them come on, and there will be lights that will turn on the front. But then the last box you're going to turn on is called the HearBack system. It's for the musicians to be able to hear themselves in their earphones. And you're just going to pop that sucker up to on, and you'll see the lights come on the front. And so now that we've gone through this, we're going to show you how to use the soundboard in a very basic but need-to-know way. Alright, so here we have our soundboard, which is very essential to make sure the sound is good for musicians and speakers. So quick tutorial. After you have the soundboard turned on, you'll see that there's 24 channels that go all the way across. You can see the numbers all the way across. And these numbers are going to help you decide who needs to go up, who needs to come down. And right here across the top, you'll see each channel is assigned. 24, you have computer. Number 1, you have main headset, which I'm speaking through right now. And when you come on Sunday mornings and it's time to sound check everybody, you want to work from something called a baseline, which means that you can hear everybody fine, and then you start tweaking. So the soundboard is kind of divided up by categories. The first channels are all microphones. Then you have a blank, and then you have your instruments. Instruments go all the way with the drums at the end. Then you have your backtrack, and then computer. Your job is to make sure all the channels are where they need to be in order to hear everything correctly. Over on the far right hand side, you have your overall main. That slider bar should remain under the U. I have it up for recording purposes. So this is your main. It controls every volume. If you turn that down, everything in the room is going to turn down. But then you have these 4 blue ones, which are our category ones. You can see they're labeled guitar, vocals, keys, and drums, and they control what they list. And you can see right now there is a red mute thing. The one thing that's nice is for transitions, you will be able to mute all the instruments very quickly. So let's go through a service schedule really quick. So Sunday morning you come, it's sound check. You're going to adjust these channels up and down so that they sound, you have a good mix. And whoever is leading a song on the microphones should be the loudest. So during the live worship service, you'll have to adjust these microphones to make sure whoever is leading is loudest, and the backup singers are in the background. And then same with the instruments. You gotta keep an ear to make sure none of them are out of sync, I guess you can say, with the rest of the band. And then so after worship practice, it'll be time 20 minutes before service for music to start playing. So with that, you're going to mute. You go to the categories here, and you're going to mute the channels with the instruments. That way, when people go to plug in and get on stage, you don't hear any crackling in case they drop their guitar or something like that. But your computer, right here, channel 24, you're going to turn it up for the computer to make sure it sounds good and nice and not too loud, but a good volume for the music. And whenever it's time for the worship to start, you're going to mute the computer, pull it all the way down, and then you're going to unmute these instruments. And then they're going to do their worship set. And like we said earlier, you're going to have to adjust some of the microphones on this side for whoever is leading. And then after worship is coming to a close, the host is going to come up. So you have to make sure these first 3 mics here are headset mics. These are for speakers. These should be muted during worship. But when the host comes up, you unmute his microphone. That way you can hear him. And after you unmute him, you're going to pull down the instruments with these category faders over to the right-hand side. That way the instruments aren't too loud. You still want to hear them because they play during the host, but you don't want it to be too loud. And so the host, you adjust his volume if you have to. And so after the host is done, you're going to show a transition video. The computer guy will put it up. And so what you're going to do is you're going to make sure the host and all these instruments are muted, and you're going to pull the computer up again. And then after the transition video, it'll be time for the main speaker. At this point, it'll be super easy for you. You just mute the computer, pull the computer down slowly, and then you can mute that, and then you unmute the speaker when he comes up on stage. And make sure that his volume is a good volume. Now you want to make sure that if anything goes wrong, that you're on top of it. But then you kind of sit back, relax, and listen to the sermon. And when he's done with the sermon, it's going to be time for the host to come back up. Once again, you mute the main speaker's mic, unmute the host, and then you are going to turn the computer up a little bit because music should be playing during the host when they're dismissing. And then after the host is done, you mute the host and you turn the computer up louder as people are leaving. And that's pretty much the basic when it comes to running the soundboard. Another thing that's important to remember for getting the sound ready for Sunday morning is to make sure that the sound in the lobby is good. We want to make sure we have music and sound down the lobby because some people like to sit out here during the service. And also, before and after service, we like to have pumping music, which makes our environment more inviting and a lot more fun to be in. So in order to do that, you have to make sure the sound bar is on, which is right above the pergola. But the way to turn it on is right in the cafe here. You don't have to go in the cafe. Right on the edge here, there's a power bar. You can just follow the orange wire, and you just turn the power strip on. And the easiest way to know when you have it turned on is that the lights on the pergola will be turned on. And when the lights in the pergola turn on, a lot of times the sound bar will automatically turn on. But sometimes you have to turn on the sound bar because it has an automatic shut off. So I'm going to show you where we keep the remote for that. So right here behind the TV, we keep our remotes. They're Velcroed to the back. Just pull it off. You have one for the Samsung soundbar, so you can go ahead and just hit the power button and make sure it is set to AUX, and it says it on the soundbar, so you know. And then also there is a remote for the TV. And the TV, you want to make sure you turn the TV on also and set it to HDMI 2. HDMI 2. So the soundbar is set to auxiliary, so AUX, and the TV is set to HDMI 2. And then after you do that, the lobby should be set, and you may want to come out just to check the volume while the music is playing to make sure it's not too loud. But we'll cover that in another video.